That sounds complicated, so let me simplify it a little bit. They, like the ones Isaiah prophesied to, have closed their eyes, plugged their ears, and cannot be converted to the final truths God has given in these last days of the church age. I am pretty much convinced that the majority of those professing to be disciples of Jesus Christ really do not believe prophets exist. They can't. They can't. I mean, and that's the main thing. It's like, I'm always so amazed at those who quickly label somebody a false prophet and they don't even believe in prophets. Is that over here? We got to sit this game. I am pretty much convinced that the majority of those professing to be disciples of Jesus Christ really do not believe prophets exist. Kudos to the enemy. Jesus was well within reason when he cried to Laodicean church, the seventh and final church age. He said, if any man hear my voice. How is he going to be talking these last days? As a prophet. He said, I will raise up unto them a prophet like unto them. That prophet, the capital P prophet, he's speaking. He said, if anybody hear my voice, I'm the last prophet speaking to prophets. Not like it? Yeah. Not only is the last church age deaf, it seems to have taken pride in this handicapped, disabled condition, as it eagerly challenges every prophetic utterance and calling. No wonder all seven letters to the churches ended with the phrase, he that hath an ear to hear, let him hear the Spirit says to the churches. Conversely, he that hath not an ear to hear, let him remain in the dark place and trust one witness passages such as no man knoweth. Stay there. I wrote my first book that the church thinks because it has lost its hearing capacity that God has ceased speaking. It's like people who lose their hearing. They aren't supposed to speak up. Quit mumbling. And then I'll talk real loud, Somebody can't hear, start talking real loud. They think you can't hear. Right? Anybody been around people like that? Yeah. Right? No, I say, what? Speak up! He's talking full volume. Well, the church thinks they think because they can't hear that God has quit speaking. They're telling God to speak up. For that reason, many so-called prophecy teachers have absorbed themselves in writings related to the 70th week of Daniel's prophecies and have used them to prove the narratives of the coming of the Lord instead of hearing the voice of promised prophets who are communicating the current pre-70th week writings, telling us exactly how near it is. Yes. This article was posted by, right? The Spirit will speak to the church directly until it leaves this earth. That last letter to the church, the seventh church age, the Laodicean letter, it closed the same way the first six did. He didn't have the ear to hear. Mean what? He would be speaking until the very end of this last church age. To what? The church. When this church age is over, he goes to the 7th week, he'll speak about things in the 7th week. He will not speak of the 7th week and make them apply to the church.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what prophecy teachers are all doing. This man fulfilled and that's been fulfilled and Leviticus come down here and he's doing this and so forth. That means just one thing, that the coming of the Lord is near. No, it doesn't. That's not God's proof. When he speaks to the church, he speaks to the church. We're not talking to the church about Libya. That's right. Or about Egypt. That's right. About Syria and Egypt and the kingdom of the north, the kingdom of the south. He will talk to them in that day about those things. Not now. God is not that limited. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? He's not going to use 70th week prophecies to preach to the church.
That's right.
And tell everybody, because this is happening. If we haven't learned anything at all, we should learn by now that we don't know anything.
Amen. That's right. Amen. Amen.
We didn't know about the prophecies of the church until God told us. So why would God leave this church, this present dispensation, and go into a period of time, the 7th week, after the church is gone, and speak about things in the 7th week and make them relate to how soon the church is? Why would God just tell you how near the church, how near the end of the church is by talking to the church about things written to the church? Right? It's really important. Okay, I guess you can see by how I'm getting about it. It's important to me. The Spirit will speak to the church directly until it leaves this earth. By the way, it would only seem proper that the Spirit would first conclude its message to the church before it commences revelation to the period of time after the church. Don't you think so?
Yes.
At least finish talking to the church. You know, the church is, as you told John in Revelation, write the things which were, the things which are, and the things which shall be. So what they got to address first, the things which were, they're all completed, they're all history now. The things which are, God is, you know, he does things in order. Now God's going to address the things which are. And the things that are hereafter, he'll write about those things later on. And that's why Revelation is a difficult book to understand, because most of the book is written about things to come that God has not spoken on. And the best you can do is study it and interpolate what you think it means. And we learn that from the present dispensation, that you cannot do that. The Spirit is going to tell you. And everything you've heard about from Revelation and prophecy teachers are all men interpreting something from an academic standpoint. It's not a revelation. None. None. There's a word I'm going to use. I think I'm come back and I'll tell you. The Spirit is rightly dividing his own message, even if the ministry is not. This is the reason that God is sending a strong delusion, because the church refused to receive the love of his truth, so they would not be deceived. That's it. Offering time.